So I have noticed something. For every lady out there, okay, for most of them who have settled for a guy who gives them the bare minimum, chances are they have gone through this cycle. Number one, love bombing. Number two, breadcrumbing. Number three, finally, they were in a trauma bond. Okay, now let me explain. Step one, the love bombing phase. I've talked about this again. Like if you want the whole video, there's the 7 stages of love bombing. It's on my YouTube channel. But briefly, love bombing, this is a phase that involves overwhelming a person with compliments, gifts, excessive affection, promises of a perfect future. All of this aiming to make them feel dependent and obligated, right? Like he's always checking in, he's jealous when you don't pick up, he doesn't like your friends all of a sudden because they take up too much of your time. He's talking about marriage early on in the relationship. My goodness, on day 7, he loves you so much he cannot do without you. And the minute you are hooked, then comes step 2, breadcrumbing. Now, after the love bombing phase, the breadcrumb giver starts withdrawing affection and attention, sending small inconsistent signals, like flirty texts or occasional check-ins. He'll check on you on Monday, check on you back on Wednesday. Not like before where you were like, oh my God, you're on cloud 9 and everything was beautiful. All of these small check-ins are just to keep you interested without committing, right? If he started at 100, he will drop to 50. And then you go higher, right? Because now you're begging, you're crying, you're anxious, you're wondering, what can I do to win back his attention and affection? You become so desperate, you would do anything, right? When he senses that you're about to throw in the towel, there are those people who go like, okay, I've tried so much, I've been crying, I've been texting, he's not coming through, maybe let me let him go. When he senses that, guess what he does? He comes back, starts to pursue you a little more attentively, and within no time, from 50, drops to 20. Now, of course, this can lead to uncertainty, anxiety, confusion, because now the recipient is left wondering about the other person's feelings and intentions, right? Creating a sense of emotional instability. He's hot and cold. You know those people? Today he's nice, tomorrow you don't know what he's up to. You don't know what to expect from him. You then bring this to his attention and go like, hey, come on, I don't understand you. We used to be good, but now you're lost. You don't pick up my calls. You don't text back. I don't see you anymore. And then when you bring this to his attention, he's going to have all of these excuses. And because you don't want that honeymoon phase to end, or you want it to come back so badly, you start to become understanding. You know how understanding girlfriends are made? This is how they are made, right? Because they have hope that the affection is soon going to go back to 100 like before, right? So breadcrumbing can be used as a form of control, forcing the recipient to constantly seek attention, constantly seek validation, reinforcing the breadcrumb giver's power dynamic, all right? For many of you who don't know this too, by the way, is abuse, emotional abuse. Now, after the love bombing phase, you're like, oh my God, honeymoon, this is beautiful. Oh my God. Drops to 50, even lower, 20, gives you a little, morsels of attention here and affection here, then pulls back. He's hot, he's cold, he's black, he's white. You don't understand what's going on. You know what happens? Step 3 comes in, trauma bond. Now, trauma bonding occurs when a person experiencing abuse, now the one who is experiencing emotional abuse, you, the understanding girlfriend, you develop an unhealthy attachment to your abuser, often driven by cycles of bad days and good days, right? Now, it occurs when one person becomes psychologically dependent on the other person due to intermittent reinforcement, like periods of affection or remorse, then periods of neglect or harm. Are we together? Yeah? Like the highs of the initial love bombing and the lows of the breadcrumbing create a pattern of emotional dependency where the recipient is wired to crave the attention and validation they once received. You, the victim, you, the understanding girlfriend, become conditioned to rely on the abuser that partner for a sense of self-worth, attention, validation, etc. And just like that, conditioning sets in. And you find yourself settling for less. You find yourself settling for scraps of attention or whatever he can give, because you're now addicted to an abuser who manipulates the entire relationship. You're now on the receiving end, not sure what comes next, okay? You are kept guessing. Only the abusive partner, doling out the reinforcement, knows what will be delivered. Victims here tend to comply, awaiting the payoff, right? Like, by the way, this is part of the reasons why people gamble, because in their heads they believe that a payoff will eventually come. No one can be sure exactly when or how beneficial it will be, but they know it will come. So in a relationship, the pattern you get used to now as a victim or the understanding girlfriend is, today they are distant, horrible, and then they are wonderful, and then you're like, oh, thank God, finally here they are. And then they're mean again, horrible, then wonderful, and you're like, oh, finally. Oh, the minute you catch your breath, they are horrible again, mean, then wonderful. When you are moody, they act lovingly. When you show affection, they show disdain. When you're angry, they are angrier. Like, you are left guessing, never knowing what you're going to get when they walk in the door, when they call you. You don't know what's going to happen. And then you keep telling yourself, but when it's great, oh my God, it's great. Like, when it's good, it feels good. When he's nice, it feels amazing. But when it's bad, it's ugly. Like, it's really bad. And you're in a situation where you're unable to make heads or tails of matters, and you become addicted to the roller coaster. Now, this is an abuser's practical application of an intermittent reinforcement schedule. It is the stuff that dysfunctional relationships are made of. Simply put, you never know what it is you're going to get. As a result, the victim tends to continue returning for more. You know, when you're coming for more, you're hoping that maybe this time it's going to be beautiful. Maybe this time it's going to be nice, right? And the abuser makes certain that you're unable to predict what's in store. Now, at this point, it becomes hard to cut ties because the victim believes things will change for the better. You've always asked, many of you are always asking, why doesn't she leave? Why doesn't she just leave the guy? Why can't she get out? Because she's addicted to the highs and lows, and that is how you know that someone has been conditioned. During the creation of an abusive relationship, the victim becomes conditioned to respond in certain ways, which reinforce the abuser's use of controlling behaviors, all right? Now, this is not to say that the victim of the abuse is in any way culpable for the abuse. No. It is just to say that the victim, by staying in the relationship, confirms the abuser's tactics as either the not that bad or normal. They even normalize them, right? And they keep consoling themselves, convincing themselves that it's not that bad. Now, while staying in an abusive relationship, the victim uses these as coping strategies, right? These strategies tend to be self-protective in nature, and they often include denial. Like, they will not want to see the facts, okay? They keep their rose-colored glasses on because they don't want to see the truth right in front of them. They will use minimization. It's not that bad, you know. They'll use addictions, they'll argue, they'll be defensive, they'll try to rationalize, they'll try to detach, they'll try anything as a coping strategy, right? And by the way, what you need to understand is abuse and conditioning, they look different to different people, because I'll give you a few signs before I conclude. And one of them is your partner uses manipulation tactics to make you feel guilty, such as making you feel like you are to blame for their bad behavior. Okay? If you hadn't done ABC, I wouldn't have beaten you. If you hadn't come home late, I wouldn't have cheated. If you were giving me time, I wouldn't be texting her. Your partner makes you feel like you can't make decisions without their approval or guidance. This is abuse. Okay? They've conditioned you to feel that way. You have no self-esteem. You can't make decisions. You need them to feel good about yourself, right? Your partner constantly tries to control your behavior or choices, such as what you wear, what you do, who you talk to. That's control and emotional abuse. Another way they will condition you is your partner is verbally or physically abusive and attempts to intimidate or humiliate you. So you're terrified of them, right? Another way they'll try to condition you is your partner will threaten you with abandonment or isolation if you don't do what they want. Remember the love bombing phase, then the breadcrumbing. Now you're in a trauma bonding phase where you're addicted to them. Now you've been conditioned, and every time you don't do what they tell you, they're like, I will throw you out, I will chase you, me, I will leave you. And of course, because you want the honeymoon phase to come back, you're like, oh no, I would rather die. I would rather die than this man leaving me. And in the end, you will lose your sense of self and you will normalize walking on eggshells in order to prevent future occurrences of upsetting the abuser, right? Victims also tend to be compassionate themselves and they will offer empathy and forgiveness to their abusers, which you might not understand, right? But in the relationship, it is usually the victim's strengths and assets that keep her in that relationship, okay? Such as most of these victims, by the way, are very forgiving. They're very empathetic, and that is like every narcissist or toxic person's thing. Like that's what they look out for. That's what they like. Like you see an empathetic person, a kind person, and they're like, yes, that is my target. So most of the victim's strengths: forgiveness, empathy, compassion, long suffering, self-control, stick to itiveness, that thing of, no, I can't leave, I have to stay, I have to make it work, that, because that's a strength, right? But you are applying that strength in a toxic relationship with an abuser. And most of these people are loyal, by the way. Now, while all these are awesome character traits, an abuser will use them to his or her advantage. Can you relate? Well, if your answer is yes, I need you to see your own contributions to the relationship based on your personal choices, right? When victims of abuse start facing the reality of how they have co-created their relationships, they can see that they really have the capability to be agents of change. So please start there and good luck. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.